Hi Libra, welcome to your week ahead horoscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Libra, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings, so not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you have a Human Design Oracle deck card, and for yours this week you have that one seems to want out. So you have the Gate 22 and Grace. This is a beautiful card. So on a partnership and relationship level, this talks about swans, right? And as the saying goes, swans mate for life. So when it comes to partnerships and or relationships this week, you need to figure out what it is that you truly feel like you're in it for the long haul, and what it is it that you really feel like actually has served its purpose and it's time to move on for your highest good and for the other person's highest good. And that doesn't have to just mean in intimate relationships. It can also be business relationships, friendships, work colleagues, platonic friends, all the rest of it. Now, also, with this card, when this card shows up, it really asks you to create from a place of true creation, which is where you create out of joy, not because you want likes or shares or people to subscribe to what you're doing, but just sheerly because you love what you're doing. In all of these sectors of your life, you're being asked to live on purpose this week. All right. If you are a continued subby, Rafi loves you. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit that subscribe button. For your actions and options this week, you have the Five of Pentacles. All right, so okay, not the easiest of cards. Does suggest that in some way, shape or form there might be something that you lose, there might be something that you have to give. So like I said, this week you're being asked to really think about what you want to put your best and brightest into. And the Five of Pentacles maybe says to you that this week there might be an idea that you have absolutely loved. There might be something that you've put your heart and soul into and it just hasn't worked. Sometimes we need to be able to let go and say, okay, you know what? This is one of those failed attempts. This is one of those broken dreams, whatever you want to call it. It's not about getting into the doom and gloom. It's just about acknowledging and accepting, you know what? I gave this my best shot. It isn't working, it's not for me, and I can let it go with grace, right? There's no other sign more attached to the energy of grace and poise as far as I'm concerned as Libra. So it's really important that you find a way to exercise that this week, right? Let something go with grace. For your communications and conversations, you have the Devil card. When it comes to business, when it comes to work, the Devil card is basically saying to you, when it comes to your communications this week, if there is a conversation that you have had over and over ad nauseum, if there is a conversation that you feel like you never get the answers to, or you feel like you just go round on a merry-go-round with, the Devil card is showing up here in your communications to say that there's something about this that you need to let go. If you're constantly having the same communication or the same conversation, it means that there's something about it that's unresolved for you. And if you keep getting the same answers from the external world, as the saying goes, if you keep asking the same questions and you keep getting the same answers, eventually, do you know what I mean? Like there's a disconnect there. So somewhere you're going to have to find a way this week to let an old idea go, or to stop searching for answers that you know are never going to come. For your, again, this whole thing about letting or releasing something with grace, right? Throwing yourself into creating the things that you know you are in control of and releasing the things that you know you're not. When it comes to those of you that work for somebody else, the Devil card is really kind of saying to you, no matter how great your ideas, there might be times where they are not acknowledged. There might be times where you don't get the praise for something that you've worked really hard on. That could be really painful at times, especially when we put our heart and soul into something. You might never get that. You might never, certainly not this week anyway. The praise that you need or that you hope for might not come. And so that energy of being able to create because you want to create because you love what you're doing, right? This could be one of those times where you put something out into the world and you wait with bated breath, and the response or the applause or the whatever just doesn't come. Create from a space of where you truly want to create from, right? What you love. Don't worry about what the results are going to be. When it comes to those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, this card always says workaholic tendencies to me when it comes to this sector. And in a lot of ways with that grace card, you could search for perfection this week to the point where you drive everyone, including yourself, crazy. Don't do it. Don't go into that space. The second it stops being fun, step away from it. When it comes to those of you that are retired or no longer working, this week you could go a long way to you overindulging in any of your vices or all of them. So finding a way to be very much in control of the self is going to be vital. When it comes to your love and relations, you've got the Page of Swords. I'm sorry to say, my dear Librans, it does look like you guys are getting the sharp end this week. I'm sorry to say that, but where is the opportunity this week? That's the question that you need to ask yourself. If you are partnered, married, or in a relationship, there could be some very harsh or interesting talks around money, finances, and resources. You may have very differing ideas on what you should do with the money that is coming in. You may have very different ideas on what the long-term strategy should be. You're going to have to find a way this week to communicate in a way that is actually productive and doesn't just turn into my idea is better than your idea. For those of you that are single and looking, I gotta say, this could be a week where someone talks all the talk, but when it comes up to it, they are not there to back it up. It could just as easily be a week where you are meeting or interacting with somebody. And sometimes, you know what, it's true to a certain point. I think sometimes we need to have a tryst with somebody that we know is no good for us to remind us, actually, you know what, no, I'm not going down that path. But I will say this, if you are easily led astray, this might be a week to steer clear of somebody that you know is a bad influence on you. Just because they could have you, reveling in all of your vices, whatever they might be, and, really kind of coming to regret it after and being like, oh God, I can't believe I've gone down this route. For your money and materials, you have the 8 of Swords. Oof. This is a tough week, I'm sorry to say, my Libran friends and fam. So these two cards together showed up for me a lot when I was doing the readings in 2019, and they showed up a lot talking about lockdown. At the time, I didn't, because I know what they mean outside of that. This can mean literal imprisonment. Be very careful with what you spend your money on this week. Be very careful of any credit agreements that are signed this week. Be very clear on all of your transactions this week. The reason I say this is the sticky situation that is created from a financial transaction or purchase this week could end up being around for a long time. That's one way this could show up. Another way it could show up is, touch wood on this, and I really hope that I'm wrong, but there could be like a fraud done in your name. Maybe somebody poaches your details, etc. That could, it's a potential. Another way that this could show up as well, you could be left holding the bag for something that has absolutely nothing to do with you. All right, so please be very, very careful this week with passwords, login details, especially anything to do with finances, money, banking, all of that stuff. Be really, really careful this week. Especially because that gate 22 energy recently has been activated a lot, because Pisces, Neptune moving through Pisces is activating this gate in the human design system. And it is a very nebulous kind of energy. It's linked to the divine and creation, absolutely, but it's also linked to illusion and fantasy, you know. And so just this week you want to be extra careful when it comes to your physical health and vitality. The ace, or the 8 of swords rather, is your oh, come on brain, it is your hands, your arms, your fingers, you know, your excuse me, sorry, your upper extremities. And then when it comes to the home and environment, you could just be feeling quite trapped in home this week. If that is the case, try to get out into the natural world. It's going to be the saving grace, and it's free. All right, so I wish I could give you easier messages, but it does look like a week of challenges. I don't think this is anything that you can't get through. I do, however, feel that this might be a week where you're having to really consider what you are tied to, why you are tied to it, and what you're going to do about it. With that said, I wish you all of the best. If it's not too personal, let me know in the comments. Take care, and I'll see you soon.